All right. Hello, everybody. This is Leo Brady with AMovieGuy.com. I am incredibly excited to be here today with the writer and director of his awesome new heist movie, The Channel. His name is William Kaufman. William, thanks so much for being with me here today.
Thank you for having me.
So, I'm not sure if you know our podcast. It's called Scene Stealers. We are the only podcast focused solely on heist movies. So your new movie, The Channel, was the movie we instantly noticed. So tell us where this story came from, the origin of how you put The Channel together.
I mean, long story short, my story partner and I, Paul Reichel, he really, really wanted to do a heist movie. And you don't have to ask me twice. So I was super stoked on that. My thing, and basically it was kind of like, okay, let's do something about a bank robbery that goes super badly, and then their escape out of the city. So, and out of the country.
Yeah.
So what I was trying to do was, to me, that felt like a kind of an angle that because most heist films, right, are about the heist.
Yeah.
We have the setup, then the actual bank robbery happens maybe in the middle of the end of the second act, and then so our story was all about the bank robbery is how we begin the movie, and it's all about our 3 or 4 principal characters all trying to get out of the town while everyone's trying to hunt them down and kill them.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it. So William, this is your 9th feature film that you directed. As you said, it's safe to say that you favor action movies, which we appreciate.
I do.
Yeah, that's good. You see, you have a lot of confidence on screen with this one. Is there anything different in making The Channel that you've versus the other movies that you directed before this?
I mean, I think this is a time that I've been able to just really also build character and story.
Yeah.
And so I think that was really exciting. I think that honestly, I would say the cast and the team behind it, my producers, my filmmaker crew, it was next level of people with their passion and desire to do a really great movie. And I had Clayne and Max, who are like my 2 bad brothers. Such cool guys.
Yeah.
But as challenging and dark as this movie was, I've never laughed more. We just picked on each other and poked each other and laughed the entire time. So it was great.
Yeah, well, and you start this movie off with an awesome bang. Charles and I really always appreciate when the heists themselves are just incredibly thrilling, done with such precision. It's intense, it's loud, and it becomes, honestly, we find that it becomes choreographed. It's like a dance that you're doing with your actors and your cinematographer. Tell us, how did that sequence come together? Because me and Charles both discussed this after we got done watching it. We were both like, they nail that part right from the get-go.
Thank you. I mean, again, like you said, it's my guilty pleasure. No one's going to ask me to do a rom-com. So I got to call in one of my best friends, the kind of surrogate uncle to my kids, which is a guy named Scott Phillips, who's a former Navy SEAL.
Yeah.
And he put them through a pretty extensive bank robbery 101. So they learned all the tactics. We set up, cars for them to do their Ranger Peel retreats and all this stuff.
Yeah.
So they learned mag changes and all kinds of. It made life really much easier because when we're shooting it and we are under that pressure cooker of that time, having these actors all knew what to do, right? So if we had to make any adjustment, it was super easy and quick. And they knew as much or as more as anyone on set because they had rehearsed it for, extensively.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So as Leo said, we specifically do heist movies here. So we could see that there's a little bit of DNA from other great heist movies, specifically from what we saw, a little bit of Heat, Hell or High Water, The Town, just a few that come to mind. Is there any specific heist movie that was your inspiration in your
Heat,
directing style?
heat, heat,
Okay,
heat,
yeah,
heat, heat.
gotta be.
Michael Mann, I
Yep.
mean, he's a badass.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So that's kind of me, getting to do and play in that world because I'm a huge Michael Mann fan.
Yeah.
We fully
So
support
yeah,
it. Yeah.
I'm not gonna fool anyone that there wasn't some inspiration on
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
I think we did our own thing, but I think it you know, there's an example of film that was so character driven. They had 3 hours to tell that story. We had 90 minutes.
Right.
But that and it's what I believe about action is you have to be invested in the characters to care whether they live or die. Right. So I would say that's the most one. I've had people ask me about a couple other films because in the generation behind us, they're like, oh, Den of Thieves. Den of Thieves is a great movie, but it wasn't mine. It wasn't it wasn't my source material.
Yeah.
Mine was definitely that little movie from 1992 called Heat. So, and The Town's another great movie. And both, you think about The Town, Den of Thieves. There's, you guys know, 999.
Yep.
Yep.
We've done an episode on it.
All those movies and all of them have been influenced by Heat.
Yeah.
I don't think
Yeah.
they'd be the same movies without Michael Mann having done it first.
Yeah.
And they're all their
Sure.
own thing, but we definitely, I definitely, look to that movie as something that just tone and energy and yes, running gun battles in the street. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, well, it's not a bad movie to copy, right? It's like me and Charles are always like, dude, just like, yes, it's Heat, but it's like if it's not broken, don't fix it. Like it's just it's always you talked about working with your actors. I wanted to talk to you about Clayne Crawford and Max Martini. I mean, they play brothers, getting them like I'm a little bit more of a stickler on casting and stuff. I think like your brothers kind of have to look similar to each other. They have to look like they might be related, but they also have to have a great chemistry. So how did you sort of land on the two of them and choose them to be these brothers? What was it that made you say, okay, these are the guys?
Well, I'm a huge fan of both of them anyway.
Yeah.
I'd gone out to them for different roles on this movie, knew they both really were best friends, and made sure it got leaked back to them that they both had offers on the table to do the same movie.
Yeah.
And then they came back and said, we want to try and talk Kaufman into letting us play the brothers.
Yeah.
I faked that it was a conversation needed, and I was just super excited,
Yeah.
And although you make mention of whether they look like brothers,
Yeah.
and I think the chemistry of their 20-year friendship, of the big brother and little brother that they are,
Right.
Was something that was such a blessing as a filmmaker, casting wise. So
Yeah.
I think they were perfect.
Agreed, and definitely came off on screen. So we love the idea of like brothers, period, in heist film. There's no greater loyalty and trust that you go into doing a job like that. You
Right.
throw the wrench in there and making one of the guys an all-time wild card, do anything, say anything. It seems like you were trying to play off those family dynamics. So where does that plot line come from? Did you have any big brother that pushed you around when you were younger that you wanted to put on screen?
I didn't have a big brother, but I definitely have had by blood, but I've definitely had those big brothers. And I've also, like most people, had some pretty dysfunctional relationships with friends that you just, it was the friend your mom did not want you around. So, and for good reason.
Yeah.
But I think that I have that loyalty with my friends, and the brother factor, the blood factor, and that is an entirely different thing, So I felt like it really took it to another level. And although Mad Dog, Max's character,
Yeah.
does some pretty evil stuff in this movie, I think it might connect with people that he's motivated by his love for his brother. However dysfunctional that is,
Yeah.
that's his motivation. And same on the flip side, Clayne not being able to let go of the thing that's going to drown him is because of that codependent little brother thing.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, he has those moments where he can't stop looking back and he can't stop like pausing for a minute because it's like there's always second guessing. You can't like just break that relationship
Right.
like instantly. It's too hard. And I
And
think
I
that
love the tug of war between Julian as Ava
yeah,
and Max, who are both trying to win, and they both believe they have the best intentions for him. I think Ava's probably smarter than that side, but
yeah,
yeah, I mean it's good stuff.
yeah. Well, I'm always and I'm always the guy sort of that asks, questions about behind the scenes stuff. Um, I mean, dude, you make this thing look so authentic. Like, bullets hitting cars, explosions, like the sound design. Those things like are really important in heist movies because it like jolts you. It gives you like a
Right,
little thrill and it kind of like puts you on edge. And especially obviously a movie like The Channel is working with a different budget than the John
right,
Wicks of the world. So like
100%.
what was sort of your process to be able to make it look as authentic and make it come off as flawless? I mean, that really is a testament to your direction, your
Thank you.
crew. Tell us a little bit about that.
I think part of my style is this handheld vibe that I love.
Yeah.
It's not shaky cam, it's not distracting. It's supposed to be immersive, and so that you're in there deep. Um, my sound designer Johnny Marshall's freaking phenomenal, and I'm the nerd who's saying, okay, this is that gun, this is that gun, and he goes and finds everything, and everyone has their own thing,
Yeah.
and so micro detail stuff that maybe may seem not needed, but it's a layer that the untrained ear just makes it feel more authentic. So
Yeah.
I think the more immersive and authentic you can make it, the more engaging it'll be. That's the goal.
Yeah.
So, and we were very run and gun. So we were all over the city in all the places people don't shoot movies in New
Right.
Orleans,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So there's no Mardi Gras and voodoo in our movie. So
Right.
it's getting to show off because it's a cool looking city. Everywhere you point a camera, it's something unique.
Yeah.
So
Love that. And speaking to that, the Irish Channel, very specific neighborhood in New Orleans. You do a great job of making the city and the neighborhoods feel like a character here. Looked and couldn't find anything. Do you have any specific history with New Orleans? Is there a connection that you wanted to make sure was a part of this film and on screen?
well, I've been coming here for most of my life. And I just um my own it was my second film, but my first film that was outside of ultra low budget guerrilla film with Sinners and Saints.
Yep.
And I just I have such a love for it. I moved here. I'm not from here, but I moved here as quick as I could. And and I, as I said, I live in the Irish Channel. So that's it's just such a place with such soul and such interesting, diverse people where anyone can be anybody, um, as a writer, there's just so many unique personalities. There's all these bits and pieces of these characters. There's something that's pulled directly out of my little corner bar or some, you know, ride along I had with a cop,
Yeah.
all my friends on the department. So it was pretty cool.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, we definitely feel that. I mean, and I've talked to Charles about this a lot. 2023, in my opinion, has been thankfully the revival of action movies. We've had John Wick, the new Mission Impossible. I interviewed Rick Romanois about Kandahar.
Yeah.
Like these movies are going back to sort of the nuts and bolts of the things that action movie lovers such as Charles and I, guys who grew up on Schwarzenegger and
Right.
Stallone, right? Like we
That's
love
me too.
yeah, exactly. Like we love that stuff. So what is it? And now we have the channel here. I mean, honestly, I'm adding this into the pile of great action movies of 2023. What is it about now that I think we're seeing a shift for audiences wanting to watch original action instead of superheroes? Are action movies just getting that much better?
I think people like Hargrove and Chad, the 8711 team,
Yeah.
introduced people to another level of kind of more reality based, you know. Yes,
Yeah.
it's crazy cinematic as well, but I
Right.
think their ability to let camera roll and capture action in a way, that's a different thing than I do, but it's so exciting, and it's attracting a new generation of action fans.
Yeah.
And I love those movies. So
Yeah.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah.
Um, uh, so speaking from a very detailed movie watcher, William, sometimes action and heist movies can have continuity errors and some or be hindered by budget restrictions. You really make the best with what you're doing, and God bless you.
thank
You
you.
really hit it out of the park there. It's very clean, very thrilling. What was your process in making sure you got all of those things right?
I surround myself with really smart people. um, I've got it's just having the best team possible. And I think and a willingness to listen. You know, I'd much rather be embarrassed with just one of you guys than and have you and as opposed to you correcting me, giving me advice, and being, you know what I'm saying? I'd rather adjust and put ego aside, which is a killer, and lean on people that know more than I do. This is a this is not painting. This is not writing a novel. This is an army of people all coming together to make it happen. And I think to do it well, that's what works.
Awesome. Well, William, thank you so much for being with us here today. As if you couldn't tell in our questions and in like sort of, we're not trying to blow smoke. We really loved this movie. We both, Charles and I, both huge fans of Heat. Both huge. Charles is the big fan of Den of Thieves. I'm not so much a bigger fan of that. But
I'm a fan too.
yeah. So
Okay, good,
well,
good.
I'm Heat in the channel, and then Charles is going to be Heat, the Den of Thieves in the channel. So we'll
Let
just
me be number 3, Charles. I'll take
Yeah,
that
yeah.
all day long.
we'll leave
That's
it.
some great company to be in.
We'll leave it there.
Uh,
But thank you so much for being with us here today. We hope people get out to go see the channel. It's going to be in theaters July 14th and on demand. People can rent it. Get out there and see this movie. It's awesome. It's action. All action fans, fans of heist movies, got to go see this.
Yeah, thank you,
Thank you,
William.
guys.
We look forward to the next heist film when
Yes.
you get out.
Yeah. So
Thanks.
thank you guys, because for a little film like ours to get opportunities to get out there and is a blessing. I really appreciate it.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank
I'm
you.
really glad you guys liked it.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
go see the movie this
Yeah.
Friday night.
This Friday.
Yeah.
Thanks, William.
Thank you, William. Thank you.